Hey everyone, Danny here over at Into Fly Fishing, and we're back with another affordable fly rod review. Today we're taking a look at the Piscifun 9-foot 6-weight sword model. Now we did purchase this rod ourselves, and if you would like to purchase it, the link is in the description below. And this is one of the most affordable rods we could find that still had solid reviews. Over 750 people have given this rod over 4.5 stars on Amazon, so we figured we'd check it out, see if it lived up to the hype. So make sure you sit back and enjoy this review. So let's start with the action. The Piscifun Sword does have a medium action. Now, for a 9-foot 6-weight model, that is important to know because many 9-foot 6-weights are going to have at least a medium fast or a fast action. So the medium action is something to pay attention to. But after using it for a few days, I did find that it wasn't as soft of a feeling rod as I initially thought. I tested out a few other medium fast action rods, and I felt like this one actually had more power and more backbone in some cases. So I wouldn't say it is a true medium action. It has a little bit more meat to it that you would expect on a more medium fast or moderate fast action rod. So as mentioned earlier, this is a 9-foot 6-weight model. And it does weigh 4.6 ounces. And that might scare some of you off right then and there. That is a bit heavier of a rod. So some of the other 5-6-weight rods we've tested out have been 3.5 to 4 ounces. So the 4.6 is definitely noticeable. Now, me personally, I like a heavier rod. So I like the way that this feels. It's got some power. I feel like I'm working with an actual stronger power tool here. It's not a little finesse operation. It's just one of those meatier, kind of boxier little setups, but something about it just feels like you know you have control, and it's going to be with you in some of those tougher conditions. So that's I'm a fan of that personally. Others of you might want that more finesse, lighter feel. So keep that in mind when you are purchasing this. So let's talk build materials as well as quality. So first thing I want to mention is the rod does come in this rod case. When I first received it, I switched it over to a different rod case that I had. It worked for shipping the rod, but just general storage of it all, it doesn't. This whole system here with the elastic straps and these foam inserts in there, just wasn't a fan. It was cumbersome, wasn't as smooth, and it just didn't look as good as general rod storage and traditional rod tubes. So I did switch it out. If you don't want to, you don't have to. You can definitely make it work, but I would recommend switching it out because odds are the rod's just going to be bumping into itself the whole time inside this tube here. But as far as the rod is concerned, this is made with an IM7 graphite. So a quality graphite that is meant to last. It does have a machined aluminum reel seat with a double locking system, so your reel definitely will stay in place throughout your day on the water. Again, I didn't feel like it was slipping at all or moving around. It was definitely locked solidly in place. So these also do have ceramic and chrome fitted guides on here, so the guides aren't going anywhere. They look great. They're not too large, too intrusive, and yeah, they're definitely quality, built to last. And the cork is a 3A cork, so comfortable. Didn't get any blisters or rubbing or anything throughout my time on the water. I was actually quite comfortable. And after using the rod for a couple days, I don't have any concerns with its quality and really its reliability. So next, let's talk casting ability. Now, I felt really comfortable with the Piscifun Sword inside of 50 feet. And beyond that, the medium action definitely was noticeable. The rod tip would get a bit shaky. The fly would get out of place, not necessarily where I wanted it. And just the backbone of the rod started to show. But anything inside 50 feet, I was able to hit really wherever I wanted to. Even with a bit windier day and faster moving conditions, the rod cast did well, and it was smooth, and I felt like I could load it up well, and it all worked. But as I started trying to really air it out, I noticed the lack of quality and just the lack of the backbone on it. So blank recovery rate. As mentioned, this is a medium action rod, not meant to recover extremely quickly so you can get those long casts and have that extra meat and power. But I will say that it does recover fairly smoothly. When I was throwing streamers and had that little bit extra weight at the end of my line, I needed that quicker recovery so I could keep my momentum and my loops quality, and it was up for the challenge. I think it recovers nicely. I'd definitely compare it more to a medium fast or even a moderate fast action. So not too slow by any means, but it still was a nice feel, especially when I was throwing the nymphs and the dries. That little bit longer delay helped me keep things smooth. So next up is line control. So line control is important, especially when you're fishing with a rod that doesn't cast as well or accurately as a high performance rod. And I felt like I could control this line pretty well, especially as I got tired as the day progressed. I felt like I could make my mends and the rod responded well enough. I wouldn't say it was immediate and as quick of a response as I traditionally like, but it was good enough for me. I was fishing water 700 to 7 or up to 1,000 even CFS, and I had to make quite a few mends, so even if it was short little quick ones or longer mends, pretty good. I wouldn't say I was overly impressed. I wouldn't say it was terrible. So I would say it really was just fine, and I got the hang of how it responded after a while, and I think that's really what's important. If you can figure out this rod's personality and how it works well for you to mend, then you'll be okay. So the target fish species I would go for is all types of trout and panfish. Now, if you're going into some of those huge steelhead waters and things, don't go for those, but most stocked and even wild trout are going to be okay with this, and panfish obviously it'll be just fine. But anything beyond that, even smaller bass, pike, things along those lines are going to stretch this rod too much. Piscifun does offer a faster action setup in the 7, 8, and 9 option, so if those fish are what you want, I'd go size up a bit, but for this 6-weight model, don't go anything larger than trout. The water you want to fish with this rod is mostly small to medium-sized rivers and smaller lakes. Again, anything beyond 50 feet, you're not going to be able to hit as well, so you can't make those huge casts that you likely would want to. So those smaller, medium-sized rivers, the occasional stream if there is an open casting lane and a bit of room for error, but more open water that gives you a chance to mess up. You don't have a lot of brush and cover behind you. You can just mess around with how this feels and be okay with it making a mistake every once in a while. And as long as you don't have to be overly precise on those bodies of water, you should be just fine with this. So the price is where this Piscifun sword sets itself apart from the rest of the affordable rods on the market. This rod's only going to cost you $40. You cannot go wrong with that. For $40, you're getting a rod that's going to last you, perfect to learn on, and it's really built pretty well for the price. I was actually quite shocked because some of the other rods we've tested that are 3 times this much or at least twice this much, I wouldn't say are overly different than this. So I would say the $40 well worth it. Now, who is this rod for? I would say this rod is a perfect beginner's rod. Again, the 6-weight model, pretty versatile. Even though it is a medium action, it will help you learn the just rhythm of casting quite well. You can make all sorts of different casts, roll casts, river loaded casts, just general normal traditional back casts. You can learn all those, and it's going to handle most trout and things that you find in panfish. So learning waters, learning easy fish to catch, it's perfect for you. I would hesitate to make it a backup rod unless you were going for one of their larger models. That was a faster action. That one would be a great option in a pinch, but I would probably stay away from this unless you are a beginner just looking to learn how to fly fish. Now overall, I have no complaints about the Piscifun Sword. For $40, a beginning angler is going to learn everything they need to know, and they don't have to make an overly large investment. So even if you don't like fly fishing, you're not out that much. And if this rod is something you would like to purchase, remember the link is in the description below. And we really appreciate you all watching this video, so make sure you like and subscribe and stay tuned for more.